He lost his family. He lost his faith. But in the stillness of a cold night, he whispered one broken sentence, and heaven answered. Part 1. The whisper that changed everything. Ethan had always been the strong one. He was the kind of man who worked overtime, paid bills on time, remembered birthdays, and helped his neighbors without being asked. People admired his discipline, but they never saw the weight he carried when he got home. 3 years ago, Ethan's wife passed away after a long battle with cancer. Since then, everything had faded. Color, sound, even his will to pray. He still believed in God, in theory, but that belief had turned into silence. No more church, no more worship, just the occasional nod to heaven when he didn't know what else to do. His daughter had moved across the country, rarely called. He had no one to talk to. Each night he ate dinner alone, watched the same news shows, and sat in his old recliner, staring at the ceiling. Numb. But one evening, something in him broke. He couldn't hold it anymore. Tears rolled down his face, silently, like rain over glass. He turned off the TV, walked out onto the back porch, and looked up at the sky. It was dark, cloudy, windy, just like the inside of his soul. And then he whispered the simplest sentence he'd ever prayed, "God, if you're still there, show me tonight." He didn't expect thunder. He didn't expect a voice. But something happened. The wind suddenly stilled. And from somewhere deep inside, he felt something he hadn't in years. Peace. No words, no visions. Just a steady warmth in his chest, like a hug that didn't come from this world. He fell to his knees, covered his face, and wept. And in that silence, one thought came to him, clear and gentle. I've never left you. You were never alone. Night prayer, for when I feel alone. God, sometimes I don't feel you. Sometimes I forget how to pray. And sometimes I wonder if I've drifted too far away to be found again. But tonight, I choose to believe you still hear me. Even if my prayers are small, even if my heart is heavy, even if I'm not sure what to say, I ask you for one thing, be near. I don't need signs and wonders. Just peace, just quiet assurance that you're here, that I'm still yours. Remind me, God, that you never leave. Not when I cry, not when I doubt, not even when I'm angry or numb. Tonight, I lay my fears at your feet. I give you the ache, the silence, the confusion, and I ask you to hold me as I sleep. Whisper truth to my soul while I dream. And when morning comes, let me wake with a little more hope than I had today. Thank you for staying with me, even when I stopped looking for you. Amen. Part 2. The job she wasn't supposed to take. Danielle was 27 when she was offered her dream job. She had been praying for months, for purpose, for breakthrough, for a chance to finally prove herself. And then it came. A digital marketing firm in another city offered her twice her current salary. Modern office. A team that valued her creativity. Big clients. It felt like everything she had asked God for. Everyone said, you'd be crazy not to take it. But inside, something didn't sit right. She couldn't explain it. Not to her parents, not to her friends, not even to herself. There was this strange feeling in her chest, like a whisper in the back of her mind. This isn't it. She prayed about it briefly, but she was too excited. She signed the contract. 3 months later, the truth came out. The company wasn't just cutting corners. It was laundering money. She got caught in the middle of a legal investigation. Her name, her integrity, her peace, all shaken. One night, after hours of interviews with lawyers and investigators, she sat in her apartment, staring at the floor, shaking with shame and anxiety. And she whispered, God, I knew it. You tried to warn me. But before the guilt could crush her, something gentle interrupted. Yes, but I never stopped protecting you. That moment changed her. Not because she was rescued, but because she realized something deeper. Even when we ignore him, God doesn't walk away. She still had to walk through the consequences. But she wasn't alone anymore. Night prayer, when I've ignored your voice. God. Sometimes you whisper. Sometimes you nudge. Sometimes you try to protect me in ways I don't understand. And if I'm honest, I don't always listen. Forgive me for the times I trusted my excitement more than your peace, for the times I ran ahead of you, for the times I closed my ears because I didn't want to hear the truth. But you're not like people. You don't hold grudges. You don't turn away from us when we fail. So tonight I lay my regret at your feet, not so I can forget, but so I can finally heal. God, thank you for still being near. Even when I went the wrong way, even when I ignored your hand, even when I didn't deserve mercy, you gave it anyway. Speak to me tonight, Lord. Help me recognize your voice when it comes again. Let me fall asleep wrapped not in guilt, but in grace. Because no matter what I've done, I still belong to you. Amen. Part 3, the empty room at the top. For most of his life, Jordan had only one goal: make it. He came from nothing, raised by a single mom, shared a room with 3 siblings, used secondhand shoes and learned to fix things himself. So when he got older, he worked like a machine. College, internships, long nights. He climbed fast, faster than anyone expected. By 34, he was a partner at a major firm. He owned 2 homes, drove a luxury car, had a passport filled with stamps and a phone that never stopped ringing. But late at night, when the world went quiet, he felt it. The ache. He couldn't explain it. The emptiness. The nagging sense that something was still missing. One night after another award dinner where everyone praised him but no one really knew him, he got home, loosened his tie, sat on the edge of his king-size bed and whispered, "God, if you're real, why do I feel so hollow?" No dramatic miracle happened. No thunder or blinding light, just a still, quiet voice in his mind. Because you filled your life, but not your soul. He couldn't stop the tears. For the first time in years, Jordan felt something deeper than success. He felt seen. And slowly he began to change. He started journaling, listening to worship music, even visited a church quietly, sitting in the back row. He realized the truth. He wasn't built to impress people. He was built to know God. Night prayer, when success isn't enough. Lord, I've tried to build a life that matters. I've worked. I've achieved. I've climbed every ladder they told me to. But when the lights go off, I still feel something missing. Tonight, I want to be honest with you. All the trophies in the world can't quiet my soul. All the applause fades when I'm alone. God, I need more than success. I need you. I need purpose that doesn't come from people. I need joy that doesn't depend on a paycheck. I need peace that doesn't disappear with the applause. So here I am, stripped of image, done with pretending. Speak to me in this quiet. Fill what's empty, heal what's tired, and remind me that I am more than what I do. I am yours. Help me rest tonight knowing that I don't have to prove anything. You already love me. That's enough. Amen. Part 4, the silence that wasn't empty. Lena was a planner. She liked structure, clarity, checklists, and most of all, answers. So when she reached her 30s still single, unsure of her career path, and emotionally exhausted from failed relationships, she did what she thought she was supposed to do. She prayed. Every night. Same spot, same words. God, what do you want from me? What am I supposed to do next? But the silence that followed started to feel cruel. Friends around her were getting married, moving up in their careers, living the next chapters she so desperately wanted. And there she was, faithful, prayerful, and stuck. She started to wonder, maybe God doesn't speak to people like me. Maybe I'm just meant to wait forever. But one evening, she decided to do something different. Instead of praying, she listened. No background music, no phone in her hand, just stillness. And in that stillness, a memory surfaced. A journal entry from a year ago, where she wrote, "I feel like God is asking me to slow down, to let go of forcing everything." She gasped. The words had come from her own pen, but she hadn't listened. She'd kept pushing, kept demanding clarity, when maybe what God had wanted all along was her trust in the silence. That night, for the first time, she didn't beg for an answer. She whispered, "Okay, I'll be still. You lead." And her heart exhaled, not because everything changed, but because she finally believed God was in the silence too. Night prayer, when God feels silent. God, I've asked you so many questions. I've waited for signs, dreams, voices, verses, but sometimes it just feels quiet. Tonight, I admit, it's hard to trust when I don't hear anything. But maybe you've already spoken. Maybe I just need to slow down enough to remember. Help me release the fear of missing your voice. Help me believe you are still leading, even in the waiting. God, if you're teaching me to trust you in the silence, then let it be enough for me to know. You are here. Tonight, I won't try to control. I won't demand clarity. I'll just rest in the presence of a God who speaks even when he says nothing. Because silence from you isn't absence, it's preparation, and I trust you, even now. Ian Amen. Part 5. The prayer behind bars. Andre used to believe in God. As a kid, he went to Sunday school, wore a cross necklace, and could quote verses by heart. But life got hard. His father left. His mother died when he was just 16. After that, church stopped, prayer stopped, pain began. He got into fights, joined the wrong crowds, started doing things he swore he'd never do. By 25, he'd been arrested 3 times. By 28, he was serving a 2-year sentence for theft and assault. He hated who he'd become. But even more, he believed God did too. He wouldn't even look at the chaplain when he passed by the cells. He laughed at the Bible studies. Until one night, everything broke. Andre received a letter from his younger sister. In it, she wrote, "I know you think you're too far gone, but every night I pray for you. I still believe God hasn't given up on you, and neither have I." He read the words 5 times. And then, with no pastor around, no music, no lights, he fell to his knees on the concrete floor and whispered, "God, do you still want someone like me?" It was barely a prayer, just a whisper, just a question. But something answered. Deep in his soul, he didn't see visions, didn't hear a voice, but he felt it. Grace, pure, undeserved, unexplainable. And in that cell, Andre gave his life back to God. He started reading the Bible, attending chapel, apologizing to people he hurt, and when he was released, he didn't go back to his old life. He became a youth mentor, because now he knew there's no such thing as too late for God. Night prayer, when I feel unworthy. Lord, some nights the weight of my past feels too heavy. I think about the people I hurt, the promises I broke, the times I turned away from you, and I wonder, could you still want someone like me? But your word says you leave the 99 to find the one. You redeem the broken, you heal the lost. So tonight I don't come to you perfect. I come honest, tired, guilty, and I place all of it at your feet. God, thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy that doesn't make sense. Thank you for loving me not because I earned it, but because it's who you are. Help me rest tonight in that truth. Remind me that no mistake is stronger than your forgiveness, and no past is greater than your promise. I am not too far gone, because you're the God who finds us, even behind bars, even at the bottom, even here. Amen.